I had to Google remove witch curse in 2020. I had to Google that in 2024. I had to Google that. There's a website where they sell curse removal. There's loads of options. It's a big website. It's called Etsy, all right? I found out recently that witches are back. Yeah, witches, witchcraft, curses, that's all come back. I think it's a bad thing. I think it's got to stop. It doesn't belong in this day and age, okay? It's terrifying. No? All right, well, I'm saying it is, you know, this is the thing. It's like, great, when it was around a few hundred years ago, great. Nothing else going on, stick it in the mix, bit of fun, all right? But witchcraft, 2024, I got too much on, all right? I don't want to... It's, okay, look, basically what's happened is that a friend of mine says he's got a curse on him, okay? He's not been able to sleep for a year, okay? And when he first told us he's not been able to sleep for a year, initially I was like, all right, yeah, just try not using your phone before bedtime, you know, try that. And then he was like, no, it's definitely a witch's curse. My ex was a witch and she put a curse on me and I haven't been able to sleep since, okay? And I was like, okay, just try the phone thing for a bit first. Please try that first. And he was like, no, it's witch's curse. So you have to indulge it. You have to try and help a friend, you know, if they've got a witch's curse on them. So I had to Google remove witch curse in 2020. I had to Google that in 2024. I had to Google that. There's a website where they sell curse removal. There's loads of options. It's a big website. It's called Etsy, all right? Yeah, okay, there's a lot of stuff on there. One of the things is curse removal. A lot of deals going on, 20, 30, 40% off, you know. I had one in my basket. I was like, it's going to cost me £8 to get this problem off my table. Let's do it. And then at the last minute, I thought, hang on, who is selling curse removal? It's the witches, isn't it? It's a scam. So I stepped away. I'm not getting involved in this, okay? I left it for a bit. And then one day I was walking down a street one day and I saw a business card in the window of a shop and it said, witch doctor for hire. So those guys are back as well, all right? So it's witch doctor for hire. I'll remove all curses. He also promised some other stuff. Like he was like, if you got any VAT problems, I'll deal with that as well. Just a lot of stuff he promised. So I called him up and I was like, listen, our friend's got a curse on him. Can you remove the curse? And he was so matter of fact. He was so modern. He was like, yeah, not a problem. WhatsApp me a picture of him and Monzo me £200. All right? I didn't expect... I'm not paying him by bank transfer. I'm not having that on my... I might apply for a mortgage. What do you think they're going to question? The daily latte or my extraordinary witch defence budget? It's a big deal, all right? I can't get involved in this. So I was like, no, can you come round and remove the curse? We'll pay you in cash. Can you just see him remove the curse? We'll pay you in cash. And he said this. He said, no, cash is dead. I was like, why is cash dead and witches are alive? All right, I shouldn't be having to deal with this right now. Okay. Anyway, left it for a bit, Googled it again, kept looking. There's only one surefire way to remove a witch's curse, and that's to find the original witch, beg her forgiveness, and ask for the curse to be removed. So I told my friend this, and I said, we've got to go to your ex's house and beg her forgiveness. And he said, all right, let's do it. So a few of us went to her house. In a fun way, not in a threatening. In a sort of men supporting men way. It was really fun. And we were like, hey, can you remove the curse? It wasn't very nice what you did. And she said, yeah, no problem, I shouldn't have done it. And then she exploded into a cloud of ravens. And, all right, obviously that last bit wasn't true, okay? But the rest of it was, and my point is none of that should be happening in 2024, all right? That's my point. None of that should be happening right now. It's bad. Look, we as men have no defense against witches, okay? We've got nothing. What have we got? And don't even start thinking about wizards. I'm not getting into that. That's absurd. I shouldn't have to deal with it, all right? I'm just saying, when people have nothing in defense, you know, they panic and they can lash out. That's all I'm saying, you know? I don't know if you remember what happened a few hundred years ago when witches were last an issue, but, you know, we dealt with it. Pretty badly, but okay, yeah. Well, you know, that was meant to come across as much more charming than that. Okay, one last bit then. Okay, this is better. I went on holiday to the Austrian Alps, beautiful place. Went to a village up there. It was near a lake, lovely lake. Went in the museum there, and it was possibly one of the most boring things I've ever seen. There was nothing to talk about. The people of that town have nothing to say about themselves. Nothing has happened there, okay? And I walked out of that very disappointed. I've had to see a lot of museums. That was one of the worst. And, I think I'm old enough now to sort of admit that the best museums are the ones where they've stolen someone else's stuff. Yeah? And I came back to this city, and do you know what? We're lucky to live in London. I went to the British Museum, and I was like, yeah, nice. No, thank you for putting it all in one place for us, so I don't have to go. And it's much more fun now that you know how they got it, and they don't really know how to talk about it. They're tying themselves in knots. It's a fun experience now. The general vibe of it is now like sort of, yeah, well, obviously, some of the boys went to Egypt, and then we built this. So. All right, that is actually my time. I've got to go. You've been really lovely. Thank you so much for listening. Cheers.